Jeff Bezos. If you don't know who he is the richest man in the world. He's also the CEO of Amazon, the largest company on the internet. Amazon looks after a plethora of services, which include a online buying and selling marketplace. There is also an online streaming service for movies. There's also cloud computing for other businesses. And the most important one we're going to discuss today, artificial intelligence. Jeff Bezos is worth $150 billion. That's 15 with 10 zeros. That's 1.5 times as much as what Bill Gates is worth. And that big portion of income space between Bill Gates, who's number 2 on the Forbes 100 list, and Bezos, who's number 1, that never really made sense to me, which is why I'm here today. Because I want to discuss and I want to sort of look into where Bezos gets his money from and how he gets his money from, as well as some questionable business deals that he has with various other corporations around the world. We're going to get into all of this. Now, first and foremost, who is Bezos? He's a Princeton graduate, he's a genius, and he invented Amazon and Blue Origin. What I'm going to discuss today that has to do with Bezos is one word: philanthropy. If you don't know what philanthropy is, it's the desire to promote the wealth of other people. Basically, if you are capable enough to get, $1 billion, you should help another person also reach $1 billion. They don't necessarily have to be competition or be treated like competition. That's pretty much what philanthropy teaches you. I think this is a very important subject, even for someone with an average income, because I think what the world teaches is that no matter what position you're in, you should always be grateful that you're in that position, and you should always help someone who's in a worse position than you are. So firstly, we're going to start off with the Forbes 2020 billionaire list. This is a list of the richest people in the world, from the richest to the lowest billionaires specifically. Number 1 is Jeff Bezos, and it's listed at $113 billion. Now, this was at the start of 2020. So right now he's worth around about $150 billion. Number 2 is Bill Gates, who's now worth $101 billion. And number 3 and 4, this is where I really got into this topic, all right? Because until this point, I was sort of researching this for my own sake of just knowing where he got his money from, But Bernard Arnault and Warren Buffett are listed at number 2 and 3, and they respectively have around 80 and maybe $70 billion, each. These guys are business empires. If you don't know who Bernard Arnault is, he's got around about 70 businesses that include Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co, and various other normal brand names that we've heard of from time to time. Warren Buffett, also known as the Oracle of Omaha, has around 60 businesses, and his main ones are sort of like Berkshire Hathaway, Duracell, very dominant companies. And I think it's important to compare these two to Bezos, because Bezos has publicly said he's only got 2 streams of income, which is Amazon and Blue Origin. Now, there's got to be a reason why Buffett and Arnault are worth half as much as what Bezos is. Even though they have 70 times more income streams, businesses, full brand business. These are not low-class businesses. These are full high-end businesses. And they still are worth only half as much as Bezos. That's why I decided this was a good topic to talk about. Because there's a lot of articles on the internet that I found that revolve around this general idea of what Bezos' character is like and how he builds money up. The first one I took a look at is by The Grunge. And the article is The Dark Truth About Amazon Founder Jeff Bezos. Now, this article was sort of like a piss take. I was sort of just looking at it for the fun of it at the start, because it's sort of lists he's a massive control freak. He keeps really insulting. Maybe 1 or 2 people have actually seen this side of him, or maybe he doesn't have this side at all. But I don't think it's right for me to attack his personality when I'm doing when I'm critiquing my own question. I don't think it's right for me to attack his personality when all I'm trying to do is answer my question of how he got so rich. And yeah, so I was going to leave this article out of it, but I sort of scrolled down and saw this, right? It says here, he's not interested in charity. That made me think, I'm like, maybe philanthropy is the answer to my question of why he's so rich. Maybe he doesn't donate. Now, I'm going to inform very early in the video, alright? He does donate. I'm going to get into where he donates to in a sec. But he does donate. He's made some very charitable donations towards certain movements around the world that I think are very important. But this made me think, I'm like, how can the richest man a day, it says right here, he would have to spend $28 million a day just to avoid getting richer. That's how much he needs to spend to keep his income stagnant. So, how can someone like that be known that he's not interested in charity? It's not just this website, by the way. There's plenty of other websites. I had to obviously cut down on all the websites just to keep the video at a certain length. But there's plenty of other websites that sort of list the same thing, that he is not interested in charity. And that made me think, I'm like, there has to be a reason. There has to be more to the story as to why he is so rich. Now, I thought the best way, to sort of get an idea of how much billionaires donate is to look at how much number two's donated. Obviously, if number two hasn't donated nearly as much money as Bezos has, then it's sort of justified as to why they're so rich. Maybe they all don't donate, But I took a look at the GatesFoundation.org. This is their FAQ, which is, as you may know, Bill and Melinda Gates have the largest foundation in the world that they sort of donate to all these different causes, and it's great. It's sort of, this is philanthropy. This is what they do. This is what billionaires have to do to keep, not only to keep a good eye on the public, but just for personal, for personal satisfaction. And also not just that, the most important thing, which is giving back. You've been blessed with this opportunity to have this much money. I think it's important to give back, and it's great that they have this foundation. They've been running it for a very long time, and this is the largest foundation on the internet right now. They've donated, Bill and Melinda have personally donated $36 billion into this foundation. Just so you know, there's people on the billionaires list. Majority of people on the world aren't as rich as that to donate. They're not even rich as much as the donation amount, So like, I took sort of a ballpoint figure, alright? I took the $30 billion, I rounded it off, $30 billion, and I added it to Bill's net worth, which is 101 billion, and it came up around $131 billion, which sort of justifies the gap between Bezos and Bill, 150 to 131, $19 billion gap. I guess that's sort of, is, what you see, should be a difference between number one and number two. Now that made me think, does that mean Bezos donates at all? I've said before he does, but like, how much does he donate? Because he can't have donated that much money if he has such a significant gap between number one and number two. There has to be some reason behind it. Now this is a website called SCMP. Not really sure. It's a magazine pretty much, and they have a article stating, why hasn't Jeff Bezos donated as much to charity as Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and other billionaires, Mark Zuckerberg, so on and so forth. Now, it says here that despite giving millions to support gay marriage, immigrant rights, and fighting homelessness, his philanthropy falls short from modern tech moguls. Now, that is true. He has donated around $10.2 billion, and you'll see right now on screen everywhere that he's donated to, what the dates are, and this is all the donations he's made so far, as far as what I could find on the internet. I don't know if he's made personal donations past this, because there are anonymous donations, but just because they are in the spotlight in terms of philanthropy, they are in the spotlight, the billionaires, they do keep their donations public, but there are a lot of donations that are private. So I'm not really sure if there's more to the story than this, but that's as far as what I could find. Now, I found this article by Vox.com, 2 articles in fact, and it says here, Jeff Bezos just made one of the most charitable gifts ever. The Amazon billionaire has committed $10 billion to combat climate change. This was sort of a PR move, it says. It sort of comes across as like a PR move because people were so unhappy with his quite small donation before. He sort of bumped up the ante and gave away $10 billion, which is still not 10%. It's still not even close to 10% of his total asset. I think it's still great, give props where props due. So far you can sort of see what his donation habits are like, alright? He hasn't really given much money away, and he only tends to really bump up the ante about the money he's giving away when people complain that he's not giving enough money away. That doesn't really show that you really giving this money away because you want to. It sort of comes across as like you're giving this money away as a PR stunt. And if you actually look at all of the donations he's made, they all sort of scattered. They're not really driven towards one thing. And I think it's fine to donate to different causes. I think it's perfectly fine. But all his donations sort of look like they were given away by someone he employed to give them away rather than himself, because they don't really have a personal connection to like who he is as a person. And I think it's important to donate to causes that you believe is right. And even though there are a lot of causes that require money, ultimately it's about the mentality you have to donate to them that really changes. As you spread your knowledge, more people become aware of it. So I think it's important you have a good idea of where you're donating your money to. That brings me to the final article regarding philanthropy of Jeff Bezos, and that is the Giving Pledge. If you don't know what the Giving Pledge is, thegivingpledge.org, it's basically a commitment to philanthropy. That's the big title they give. So basically it's a pledge given to the world's wealthiest individuals to sign, that states that once they pass away, I think it's half as much as their net worth gets given in towards charities. And I think that's amazing. I think this is one of the greatest pledges there's ever been. I think it sort of promises a certain amount of money that these billionaires have towards all these causes, which means that people like Bezos wouldn't really have to think about donating. When they pass away, naturally a lot of their money gets donated. But what I found really interesting, right? I was reading through this. These are the list of people, the list of billionaires, the world's wealthiest, that have given the pledge. There's a lot of people missing from this list that are still the world's wealthiest, don't get me wrong. However, Mackenzie Bezos is in this. Warren Buffett's in this. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are in this. I think you're starting to see the pattern. A lot of the billionaires on the Forbes billionaires list are actually on this pledge. I'm not going to go through and show every single one of them, but majority of them are on this pledge. Jeff Bezos isn't. That really sort of pissed me off, because as much as I don't have a say in where his money goes, it's his money, I still got sort of, how can you sort of not sign up for this? It's like, if you're a billionaire, I think this is probably the easiest sort of commitment you can make. And yes, giving away half your net worth is hard, but it's like when you reach a point of $150 billion, there's people on this list with $1 billion that have given the pledge, that have signed the pledge. I keep saying giving the pledge, but I think it's really sort of selfish if you have $150 billion and you're not willing to give away half of it. I think it's interesting how the world's richest man has not signed in to the Giving Pledge, which is literally made for the world's wealthiest. It's made for the billionaires. It's not some other donation service that's not made. It's made for everybody. This is a commitment for the world's wealthiest, from the world's wealthiest. Just something to think about. Now, this brings me to the second part of the video, and we're going to be taking a look at some business deals that he's made with some very questionable companies. Bang! That's the first one right there. The details about the CIA's deal with the Amazon. Now, if you don't know what the CIA is, it's the Central Intelligence Agency, which is pretty much a data collecting center. That's essentially what it is. It's made so that they collect a lot of data from around the world using human intelligence. I want you to sort of think about this for a second. Amazon Echo, Alexa, CIA. Do you sort of get where I'm coming from? Like, do you get it? Like, Amazon signed a deal with a large data collecting agency around the world. And Amazon are the same people that sell Alexa and Amazon Echo. A speaker that's constantly listening to you, waiting for you to say the words, "Hey Alexa," so it triggers. Pretty much any one of these artificial intelligence devices have all claimed that they're not listening, but there's literally no way that something like, Siri could trigger without you saying, "Hey Siri." It's always got to be listening for those words. That's the only way around it. Now, I decided to take a look at Amazon Echo's terms and conditions, specifically Alexa's terms and conditions, because if we could find any sort of link, because they have to say it in this that Alexa is listening. If we could see that, then we could sort of draw a line between CIA, Amazon, and the artificial intelligence. So I took a look at it. So as you can see right here, 1.3 Alexa interactions. You control Alexa with your voice. Alexa streams audio to the cloud when interacted with Alexa. Amazon processes and retains your Alexa interactions, such as your voice inputs, music playlists, and your Alexa to-do shopping lists in the cloud to provide, personalize, and improve our services. Learn more about these voice services, including how to delete voice recordings associated with your account. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Amazon has blatantly explained on their terms and conditions that Alexa saves all your interactions with them. Not to mention, Alexa also listens to you prior to you saying hi Alexa, because in order for it to pick that up, it needs to be listening. And they just signed a $600 million deal with the CIA, the largest data collection agency in the world. I think it's very questionable, you know? I think it sort of shows that Amazon is not really as clean as they make it sound. And to be honest with you, after reading and researching about all of this stuff, I sort of agree that I'm probably never going to buy Amazon Echo in my life. I will probably buy stuff from Amazon purely because I think Amazon, the online marketplace, I think it's amazing. I think the fact that they have same-day delivery, everything's good. But in terms of looking into Bezos, having inspiration from Bezos, and also Echo and how Amazon has programmed Alexa, yeah, this pretty much sold to me that I don't want the CIA listening to me. I think it's very, just imagine how much Alexas were sold, how much Echoes were sold. I keep calling it Alexa, but just imagine how many Echoes were sold around the world, and the fact that they have a deal with the CIA sort of ensures me that it's not trustworthy. It's not trustworthy at all. Various other companies such as Google, Apple, these guys don't have a deal with the CIA. That's why I'm not attacking their artificial intelligence. I think this artificial intelligence is amazing. I think it is the future. The fact that you can set your alarms, you can set your to-do shopping list, you can change music, everything through the power of your voice is what we dreamt of 10 years ago, and now it's a reality. I think it's amazing. But I don't want to be buying that same product, artificial intelligence, from a company that has a deal with the CIA, who can potentially hold me accountable to things that happen in my house, whether it's illegal or not. I just don't want anyone else hearing or listening to my personal conversations happening around me. You get what I mean? I think that's something that is very questionable, and just thought I'd chuck it in the video. So if you still don't believe me, right, regarding this connection between Amazon, CIA, and artificial intelligence, just think about this. They signed the deal with CIA in 2014, alright? And the Alexa came out in 2015. That's when the Echo first came out and Alexa was introduced. In a year's gap between the deal as well as Alexa, there's no way they would have been able to make a artificial intelligence that listens to your commands and communicates with various other applications to execute that command. It's no way possible for them to do that in 1 year. It would have taken at least 3 to 5 years to plan and, program, beta test a service such as Alexa. Just keep that in mind. They signed the deal with the CIA 2014, which was originally planned around 2012. It's 3 years between 2012 and 2015, which is the perfect time for them to create Alexa. I just think that it's way too fishy, and the time is either a massive coincidence or I think it's all planned. And the fact that Amazon was bringing out AI services prompted the CIA to get involved and to get in bed with Amazon. And I think it's the fact that even in their terms and conditions, it blatantly states that Alexa saves your voice recordings to improve their own services. I just don't think I will ever be buying a product that is recording my voice all the time, that is linked to a company who is in bed with the largest data collection agency in the world that have been known to be involved in a lot of crime. So I think it's just, something to think about. Not for me. If you're still going to go ahead and buy an Alexa, or buy an Echo, I keep calling it Alexa. If you're still going to go buy an Echo, that's on you. But I just think that I just thought it was interesting to chuck it in the video, because it sort of shows Bezos's character towards the world, and the love he has for money is very evident. The fact that this is a reality is scary to me. So I'm going to keep this as an opinion of mine, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think about this. So, I explained before that we're not really going to take a look at Blue Origin, but there's some fishy stuff that Bezos did within Blue Origin, which is very questionable and sort of shows his character as a human being. First thing is, this is all business, so this is no way a reflection of what he's personally like. I recite this throughout my video because I don't want to have any trouble with Bezos, but I'm just saying that this is all just speculation, and this is sort of me connecting data that I found on the internet together to create my own opinions on it. First thing is the Wikipedia page for Blue Origin. You might think Wikipedia is not reliable. I think in some ways it is more reliable than some other sources. There's a lot of speculation regarding Wikipedia, but that's not the point here today. So as you may know, SpaceX and Blue Origin have been going at each other for years. Aside from a few witty jokes that Elon Musk has made, he hasn't actually made any attacks to sort of suppress the growth of Blue Origin. I think you can really tell that in Elon Musk's character is that he's a visionary that believes that if he's just trying to do the best he can do, and he is continuously succeeding in making the best of what he wants to make, such as cars, rockets, whatever it is. Bezos, however, he did some very things that are very questionable as before. That sort of shows what type of character he is and how he deals with business. So since SpaceX and Blue Origin has had this feud, Bezos filed 2 lawsuits. The first one was to prevent SpaceX from using a launch pad, which if SpaceX had won that deal to buy the launch pad, then they would be in a much better position than Blue Origin is. But the first thing he did was that he pretty much blocked off SpaceX from being able to buy out the launch pad. Elon won that case, and SpaceX got that launch pad for the next 20 years. So that's the first thing done. The second lawsuit he filed, he actually tried to patent a rocket that goes up and comes down. So the concept of a low-cost space travel is to have a rocket that shoots up and then they're able to actually come back and land. Blue Origin and SpaceX both have their own demonstrations of it. Blue Origin didn't break the atmospheric layer when they did it, but they claimed that they took off and they landed. SpaceX actually broke the atmospheric layer and they went out and then they came back and landed. That's the concept, right? They both follow, is the whole initiation of being able to take off and land. And Bezos actually tried to go behind Elon Musk's back and file a lawsuit that prevents another company from being able to patent a rocket specifically, that goes up and lands again. It's very funny how Elon fought back with this. He fought back with a clip from a 1959 German movie where you can see a rocket that shoots up and lands back down. I just think that is very fishy. I think Bezos is fishy. All the stuff that I mentioned in the video, the fact that he doesn't donate as much as he could, the fact that he's only donating for PR stunts, the fact that he hasn't signed the Giving Pledge, which literally 90% of the Forbes list has signed, the fact that they are in bed with the CIA, as well as creating artificial intelligence, literally causing a bridge between a company that collects data around the world and a device that is always listening to you. The fact that Blue Origin has done multiple lawsuits against their competitor to stunt their growth instead of just simply doing better, which is what SpaceX has been doing. All of this stuff combined together really don't leave a good taste in my mouth for what Bezos is like. And it's just sort of proves that all he cares about is money and the way he can sort of put down other people around him so for his own personal growth. And I think that is a very poor example of philanthropy, which I think every billionaire should be fluid around the concept of philanthropy, just because they have this large amount of money and power and wealth. So yeah, that's it for me today. I just thought this was interesting. This was just something that I stumbled upon, Bezos as a character. And yeah, so leave your thoughts as to everything I mentioned in the description down below. Sorry if today's video was a bit different of a backdrop. I'm actually currently at a different place right now, but I'm still pumping out videos for you guys, so that's what's important, right? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And also, just before I end the video, I'm just going to give a massive thank you to everyone who watched my last video. It's right now reached around 6,000 views, I think, which I think is phenomenal, and it's still growing by the day. I'm still getting comments every day from people that I don't even know, complimenting me on how the video looks and how I presented it and everything. I just feel really motivated to make more and more videos for you guys, because the first video was a big jump out of my comfort zone. And yeah, so I'm going to have some more videos come out soon. I'm sorry this one took too long, just got busy with exams and that. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you look into Jeff Bezos. As always, links are in description. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.